All right, guys, let's see what's going on with Goldman Sachs. One of the biggest giants in the banking industry is conducting some of the fattest layoffs. And guys, don't be fooled. I know sometimes these banks say they're doing layoffs this month, but these layoffs continue for months and months on end, with some employees not allowing to be disclosed about their layoff, like IBM. They won't let some employees talk about the layoffs. They won't let these numbers leak out. But let me tell you something. Goldman Sachs is laying off employees like there's no tomorrow. I mean, at the current moment, we're seeing a few percentages of their entire workforce being cut, which is enormous. And if you look at the bank back in January of 2023, 6% of its layoffs were initiated. These are some fat numbers, guys. And I don't just want to dig at Goldman Sachs because Citigroup is doing the same freaking thing. 20,000 workers will be cut by Citigroup, and this isn't some random bluff. If you look at Citigroup's most recent layoffs, they're actually saying this is true. They actually laid off 5,000 people in the past few months, and these layoffs for Citigroup will continue as time goes on. Look at Citigroup. The company reported the worst quarter of profits in 15 years. Right now, the banking industry is absolutely getting decimated because the Federal Reserve refuses to decrease rates fast. Guess what's happening right now? Not a lot of people are taking out loans because they're so expensive. How many people do you guys know that are buying homes right now with crazy high interest rates? I don't think a lot of people are. Home sales are at a multi-decade low right now. Car sales are actually dropping as I'm speaking. Many Americans refuse to work with banks and borrow money for the businesses because it's so freaking expensive. I'm not paying 7-8% interest rate. It's just so high. It's just not worth it anymore. Many people who are buying cars right now, they're absolutely just getting their money burnt away. There's record car repos for a reason because interest rates are so high. Record foreclosures because interest rates are so high. You don't see businesses going out and borrowing loans. And because of this, Goldman Sachs has to fire workers just like Citigroup, though not as violent, just so they could save a little bit more money. I mean, Goldman Sachs in the past few months lays off about 1,300 workers, and they're not exactly hiring people right now. They're cutting 3 to 4% of their workforce. That's fine. But when you cut 3 to 5 to 6 to 7% of workforce every single year for the past 2 to 3 years, that's when there's a problem. That's when these layoffs start getting kind of scary. And then you also have like a bazooka of a layoff from Citigroup, which pretty much tells you how bad the banking industry is right now, especially with the recent implosions of the small regional banks like Silicon Valley Bank and First Republic last year. I'm not touching any banking stock right now, guys. Things are just way too risky. We are seeing bank implosions like '08. What in the world is going on, guys? I mean, when you have big layoffs happening with retail units, retail chains, big investors firing off workers, it's just some really nasty stuff right now. I mean, even Goldman Sachs is emptying out their own buildings. This is, in fact, one of the smartest moves because if you want to save money, not only do you have to lower your headcount and your employees, but you also have to sell your office towers. That way you have a smaller real estate footprint. Greenstone Goldman Sachs are set to sell an empty 14th story skyscraper. They are selling this and they don't want this anymore. You could have it. In fact, Wells Fargo last year also sold a massive building in San Francisco for half price off. So these real estate deals are becoming more and more often. Goldman Sachs is also selling their office to a California investment firm. This is an enormous office building in Texas, and they're selling it to LA-based BH Properties, which has a crap ton of these office buildings. So there you go. Goldman Sachs, they have owned this building since 2013. So they've had this building for about 10 to 11 years, but they don't want it anymore. They don't want this building at all, and they're selling it. And when you look at other news about the banking industry, it's scary. But let me tell you guys, the tech industry is even worse because Meta, one of the biggest companies on earth, is cutting their downtown Denver space by nearly 50%. You clearly see some of the most talented, some of the biggest and richest companies like Meta, Goldman, Citi are all cutting employee headcounts. They're lowering their workforce and they're shutting down their office space. Can we get a recovery? I'm not really sure right now. Thanks for watching.